Have you ever wondered why Japanese families seem to build wealth so effortlessly, while most Americans struggle to make ends meet month after month? What if I told you it's not about earning more, it's about mastering a set of silent principles that quietly shape their financial destiny? Here's something fascinating. Warren Buffett himself once said that some of the wisest financial habits he learned came from observing Japanese investors. And guess what? None of those habits have anything to do with flaunting luxury, chasing trends, or taking wild risks. Instead, Japanese families build their fortunes under the radar. No flashy sports cars, no oversized mansions, no social media flexing. Their real wealth? It's invisible to most, but undeniable once you understand what's truly happening behind the scenes. Today, I'm going to reveal 7 silent lessons that the Japanese have mastered, principles so powerful they can completely transform your relationship with money. And the final one, it's the biggest mindset shift you'll ever experience about wealth. One that turns everything you've learned about success upside down. So let's dive in, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Japanese families quietly outperform financially, even when earning modest incomes. Ready? Let's begin with a truth that challenges the very core of the American dream. 1. Minimalism over materialism. Wealth isn't measured by how much you accumulate, but by how little you need. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, are you working to be rich or just working to afford more stuff? In Japan, there's a powerful philosophy called danshari, meaning cutting off, disposing, separating. It's not just about cleaning your closet, it's about cleansing your life from unnecessary material attachments. And here's the twist: true wealth, in their view, isn't having 5 cars in the driveway, it's needing none and still feeling free. Contrast that with American culture. According to a 2023 LendingTree survey, nearly 40% of Americans admit buying things they can't afford just to keep up appearances. We're sold the lie that owning more equals winning. But the Japanese quietly live by a different scoreboard, one where freedom beats possession every time. Let me give you an eye-opening statistic. The average American home holds over 300,000 items, Los Angeles Times, while typical Japanese households manage with less than a third of that. And yet, in a study by the OECD, Japanese citizens reported higher life satisfaction than Americans, despite owning far fewer material goods. Here's the secret. When you own less, you need less. When you need less, you work less. And when you work less, you have more time, freedom, and energy, the real currencies of a rich life. Ask yourself, would you rather impress strangers on Instagram today, or build the kind of freedom that no one can ever take away? Japanese families know the answer. They don't live for applause, they live for autonomy. So, if you want to start building invisible wealth, start with this. Every dollar you don't spend on things you don't need is a dollar buying back your freedom. And speaking of building quietly, the next lesson will show you how the Japanese master massive wealth, not through risky bets, but through small, relentless improvements. 2. Mastery through repetition, Kaizen. Big wealth comes from small, relentless improvements. When you think about getting rich, what's the first image that pops into your mind? A big win? A lucky break? Maybe striking it big overnight? In Japan, they see it differently. They believe real wealth isn't created in giant leaps, it's built through Kaizen, the philosophy of continuous, incremental improvement. Small wins, repeated daily, that compound into life-changing results. Here's something to think about. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor of all time, didn't become a billionaire overnight. He started investing at age 11, and today, over 90% of his wealth was accumulated after he turned 65, Forbes. It wasn't about one lucky trade, it was about relentless small steps compounding over decades. Japanese culture embraces this truth deeply. A Harvard Business Review study found that companies applying Kaizen principles outperformed their peers by up to 25% over 5 years. Now imagine what could happen if you applied that to your personal finances. Instead of asking, how can I get rich fast? They ask, what 1% improvement can I make today? Maybe it's saving $5 extra. Maybe it's learning a new investing skill. Maybe it's saying no to a frivolous purchase. Over time, these tiny decisions snowball. A 1% daily improvement compounds to over 37 times better in just 1 year. James Clear, Atomic Habits. Ask yourself: are you chasing home runs, or are you quietly stacking base hits? Japanese wealth is not built on jackpots. It's built on the silent, boring, almost invisible repetition of small smart moves, day after day, year after year. And if you think that's powerful, wait until you see how the Japanese approach saving money not as an option, but as a reflex. 3. Saving first, spending second. In Japan, saving is a reflex, not a decision. In America, the typical question after payday is, what can I buy? In Japan, the first question is, how much can I save? This subtle difference in mindset changes everything. Historically, Japan has some of the highest household savings rates in the world. Even during economic downturns, Japanese families consistently prioritize saving over spending. Meanwhile, according to the Federal Reserve, only 43% of Americans could cover an unexpected $1,000 expense without going into debt. Think about that. In a country with one of the highest GDPs globally, nearly half the population lives on the financial edge. The Japanese approach saving not as an afterthought, but as a built-in habit, as automatic as breathing. No fancy apps. No complicated spreadsheets. Just discipline embedded into daily life. Here's a striking example. During the 1990s, Japan faced what economists called the lost decade, a brutal economic recession. Yet, despite stagnant wages and high unemployment, household savings rates stayed above 10%, OECD reports. Americans, in contrast, saw savings rates drop below 5% during similar periods of economic uncertainty. Why? Because in Japan, saving isn't optional. It's cultural. It's expected. And here's the brutal truth. If you can't save when you earn little, you won't magically save when you earn more. Ask yourself. If your paycheck disappeared tomorrow, how long could you survive without borrowing money? The Japanese silently prepare for that possibility, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Want to adopt this mindset? Flip the American script. Instead of spending first and saving what's left, save first and spend what's left. Even saving 10% automatically each month builds a future most people will never have. And speaking of thinking beyond the individual, the next Japanese lesson will reveal a wealth-building secret that's not just about you, but about thriving together as a community. 4. Community wealth mindset. When the group thrives, the individual thrives. In America, we idolize the self-made millionaire, the lone wolf who conquers the world through grit and individual brilliance. But in Japan, wealth isn't a solo sport. It's a team effort built on the ancient principle of wa, meaning harmony and collective well-being. Here's the fundamental difference. While Americans often think, how can I get ahead? The Japanese ask, how can we all move forward together? And believe it or not, this mindset doesn't just create happier communities, it creates richer individuals too. Studies from the OECD reveal that Japan consistently ranks higher than the US in metrics like household wealth equality and community trust. Why? Because when the group focuses on stability and mutual growth, everyone wins, not just the lucky few. Here's a real-world example. In many Japanese towns, businesses collaborate instead of competing aggressively. It's common for small shops to share customers, exchange tips, and even promote each other's services because they understand that a thriving community creates thriving businesses. Imagine if American neighborhoods operated the same way. Instead of competing for status, we'd be building collective financial safety nets that benefit everyone. And it goes even deeper. In traditional Japanese culture, investment cooperatives called mujin have existed for centuries, groups pooling resources to help each member achieve big goals like buying homes, funding businesses, or weathering crises. A 2022 study from the University of Tokyo found that group-based saving strategies boosted individual savings rates by over 70% compared to solo efforts. Ask yourself, are you trying to build wealth in isolation when the secret might be building it together? The Japanese understand something powerful. True wealth isn't just financial. It's social. It's communal. And when you lift others, you rise higher yourself. But what about how they carry themselves once they've built wealth? In the next lesson, you'll see why in Japan, real wealth whispers, while fake wealth shouts. 5. Humility over flash. Real wealth whispers. Only fake wealth shouts. In America, success is often measured by the loudness of your lifestyle. The bigger the house, the flashier the car, the more followers flaunting your wealth online. But in Japan, the truly wealthy move in silence. Here's the paradox. The more money they have, the less they feel the need to show it. Take this. According to a study published in the Japan Times, over 60% of Japanese millionaires prefer to drive economy cars like Toyotas and Hondas rather than luxury brands. Meanwhile, in the US, a Bankrate survey showed that 28% of luxury vehicle owners admit they purchased their cars mainly to project success, not out of genuine need. Think about it. Who's wealthier, the person who drives a Ferrari with a $2,000 monthly loan payment, or the one who drives a modest car outright and owns millions in appreciating assets? Here's a real example. Tadashi Yanai, Japan's richest man and founder of Uniqlo, often dresses in simple jeans and a basic t-shirt. No Gucci belts. No $10,000 watches. His philosophy? Elegance lies in simplicity. The Japanese see ostentatious displays of wealth as vulgar and immature, almost a sign that you don't have real financial security. It reminds me of a powerful quote from Morgan Housel, The Psychology of Money. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Ask yourself. Are you building wealth for freedom or for attention? Japanese families choose quiet freedom over public validation. They understand a brutal truth. Every dollar spent on status is a dollar lost from true independence. And speaking of independence, the next lesson reveals the one investment the Japanese believe compounds faster and more securely than any stock, bond, or business. 6. Investing in education and skills. Knowledge compounds faster than money. If you lost every dollar you have today, what would be your most valuable asset tomorrow? For the Japanese, the answer is simple: your skills, your knowledge, your mastery. Unlike in the US, where the focus often falls on degrees and titles, Japanese culture emphasizes true competency, the relentless pursuit of mastery known as shokunin. It's the mindset of becoming so good at what you do that no economic storm can wipe out your value. Here's something staggering. A 2023 report from the OECD revealed that Japan ranks among the top 5 countries worldwide in adult skill proficiency, particularly in problem solving and financial literacy. Meanwhile, the US ranked below the OECD average in the same skills, despite Americans holding more college degrees per capita. The Japanese understand a critical truth. Money can be lost. Knowledge cannot. Just look at global tech giant Sony. It started in the ashes of post-war Japan, not with massive capital, but with a few engineers who mastered their craft better than anyone else. Or take Warren Buffett again. He famously said, "The more you learn, the more you earn." And it's no coincidence that he still spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading and learning, even in his 90s. Here's the brutal reality. The marketplace doesn't pay you for showing up. It pays you for the rare, valuable, and irreplaceable skills you bring. Ask yourself. Are you treating your education like a one-time event, or like a lifelong investment account that never stops compounding? The Japanese live by a simple but powerful formula. Every hour spent mastering a skill today multiplies your income potential for decades. And speaking of decades, the final lesson reveals the ultimate secret the Japanese master better than anyone else, the secret that makes time their greatest financial ally. 7. Patience as a financial strategy. True wealth is built slowly and quietly. In America, the obsession is clear: fast money, quick wins, instant results. But in Japan, the greatest financial victories aren't won overnight, they're patiently grown across generations. The Japanese understand something most Americans miss. Wealth is a slow, deliberate marathon, not a frantic sprint. Here's a mind-blowing statistic. According to Bloomberg, the average holding period for a stock in the US dropped to less than 5 months in recent years. Meanwhile, in Japan, long-term investing remains the norm, with many individual investors holding assets for decades, not months. It's a completely different mindset. While Americans are chasing the next hot stock, many Japanese investors are planting seeds they fully expect to bloom for their children or grandchildren, not necessarily for themselves. Take a look at Japan's Keiretsu Corporation's family and community-based business groups like Mitsubishi and Sumitomo. They have strategies measured not in quarters, but in centuries. Imagine having that kind of patience. Here's a harsh truth. The market rewards patience and punishes impulsiveness. A Fidelity study once found that the best performing investment accounts belong to people who forgot they had accounts literally because they didn't touch them. Patience quietly outperforms brilliance every single time. Ask yourself. Are you planting trees you'll never sit under, or burning forests for a quick bonfire of short-term wins? The Japanese have mastered the art of get rich slow, and that's why their wealth often survives wars, recessions, and crises that wipe others out. So if you want to build real, lasting wealth, remember this. The goal isn't to get rich fast. The goal is to stay rich forever. Now that you've learned the 7 silent lessons that Japanese families live by, the question is, which one will you embrace first? Will you keep chasing quick wins, living paycheck to paycheck, and measuring your life by how much you can show off? Or will you quietly build invisible wealth, the kind that no crisis, no recession, no trend can ever take away from you? Remember, real wealth doesn't scream. It doesn't show off. It doesn't beg for attention. It grows in silence. It grows through discipline. It grows through patience. The world will always applaud the flashy spender today. But it's the quiet builder who wins the game tomorrow. So I'll leave you with one final challenge. Before you make your next financial decision, before you buy, invest, save, or spend, ask yourself, am I building silent wealth, or just buying loud distractions? Your future depends on the answer. Which lesson resonated most with you today? Leave a comment, I read every single one. And if you're ready to start building true, lasting wealth, not just for yourself, but for generations to come, hit the like button and subscribe. Because the real journey to financial freedom begins in silence.